Everybody's taller than me, always. I couldn't resist. Strange prop. When I was younger, one of the very first large speeches that I gave, I sat at a table with one of my first national clients, which was Domino's Pizza. And I sat in between Tom Monahan and Joe Theismann. Joe Theismann had just won the Super Bowl that particular week, and I was very intimidated sitting in between the very successful chairman and the quarterback MVP of the winning Super Bowl team that year. And we were being served, and the waiter brought around the bread, and he took his tongs out and he put the bread on everybody's plate, and he took his tongs and he put the pat of butter on everybody's plate. And as he walked by Joe Theismann, Theismann turned around to him and said, "Can I get another pat of butter?" And the waiter said, "No." And Theismann turned to him and said, "Do you know who I am?" And the waiter said, "No." He said, "Well, I'm Joe Theismann. I'm the quarterback of the Washington Redskins. I'm the reason that everybody's here today. I just won the MVP of the Super Bowl." And the waiter looked at him and said, "Do you know who I am?" Theismann said, "No." He said, "I'm the guy in charge of the butter, and that's all you're getting." I'm very, very honored to be here tonight and to get this honor. I'm very appreciative of all the wonderful and gracious comments that everybody at Accelerated Cure has made about me over the course of the last several years. I have never, truthfully in my entire life, done anything that wasn't done by a team, done by an extraordinary amount of wonderful people that work for me. And I think tonight, in fairness, I should tell you that the remarks that I'm about to make were written by my teenage daughter. Before I read you, oh, by the way, if there's any Brown alumni in the audience, she wants to go to Brown, we could use her help. This is really her essay, which we, in our family, have found very, very moving. Is really a story of an illness that no one wants. But when illness comes knocking on your door, you get to decide how you're going to react. And I think, or I hope, that you'll see from my daughter's college essay how we as a family have chosen to react. The essay is entitled, Letter to My Mother. Tickle my back, Mommy. I couldn't sleep when I was younger. Instead, I conveniently placed myself between my two parents in their bed each night. I sleep with them, my back facing my mother so she could tickle it, and whisper mock ocean noises into my ear until I fell asleep. I was safe and comforted this way between my two best friends. In the city, we woke up together each morning. She would help me get dressed and comb my thin hair. We walked to school most days, my mom and I. Some days she'd carry me, some days she'd push me in my stroller, others I'd walk beside her. I knew she had multiples or something at the time, but I really wasn't sure what that meant. I remember one day she fell on her way to school and I was scared. Mommies aren't supposed to fall, I thought. Having a baby, given her medical condition, was dangerous, the doctor said, and she did it anyway. Watching me hold him made it all worth it. We moved to Westchester outside of the city when she gave birth to my brother Jace. I remember she was apprehensive about taking care of two babies. "I'm not a baby, Mama. You take care of me and I'll take care of the baby," I would tell her. The last lucid image I have of her standing was on one of our first few days in our new home. I remember her walk up the stairs to our front porch, baby in arms. I secretly worried she might fall again, as the image had never left me. The transition she underwent from legs to a walker is blurred to me, but it must have happened because I remember coming home from school to her on a walker, struggling to move towards me, only to kiss my forehead. The rest is difficult for me to discern, but over the next couple of years, her walker became a wheelchair. Metal bars appeared throughout the house, on the walls, in the shower. She took me to school, but not in the same way. I sat on her lap as she drove her motorized scooter down the streets, waving at literally everyone we would pass. "Mommy, do you even know them?" I'd always ask. "No," she would shake her head, smiling. Her optimism never seemed to captivate me. The middle school was further, and I started walking there with my friends. Every day she would ask how my day went, doing her best to remain a prominent part of my life, despite my inevitable increasing independence. As I got older and began going to high school, her health continued to deteriorate. No longer able to, quote, sit her way up the stairs, we made a bedroom for her downstairs. I started quizzing myself for tests. I could no longer rely on her for this because of her shaky hands, blurry vision, and sporadic memory loss. I began helping her get dressed, and I began combing her thinning hair. Despite the effect it has undeniably had on my life, her physical handicap has never cut off her ability to be an enduring, idealistic mother. She wrote a book for me, Letters to My Daughter, of all things I said or did as a child that amazed her. She gave it to me on my 16th birthday. No matter how many times I read it, I'm never but touched in the aftermath. With it, I am, and always will be, able to remember the kind of person my mother is, the kind of person I hope to be. I can tell when she watches me that so far I am fulfilling her expectations for me as a young person. Not just by the vivid description she's provided me with of my youth, but by the way she listens intently as I read what I have written, asks me about my life, and absorbs all that I tell her. Whether she'll remember these things tomorrow or a year from now is questionable. That I will remember these things always is definite. She used to complain when I slept in the bed with her that there wasn't enough room for 3 people. I sleep in my own room now, but I think she misses me sleeping next to her. Sometimes I still do. She's older now, easily tired, but her soul is forever energetic, and she still tickles my back the same way. My daughter, Cole. While we're all temporarily healthy, and given our choices, we would certainly send our unwelcome visitor, multiple sclerosis, home. It turns out that we're lucky for the intrusion of MS. It turns out that we all look at life through a different lens, and it turns out that we're all better people because of it. Thank you.